This one is for the ladies so that you can stop kissing frogs, because in some cultures they simply eat them. Hi guys, and welcome back to my channel. My name is Alina if you're new here. In today's video we are going to talk about how you can finally enter your divine feminine energy and attract a healthy kind of love. I'm telling you, I've been in my masculine energy for the longest time and I didn't even realize it, which is why we're going to talk about the traits and characteristics of women that are either too much in their masculine energy or that are in their overcompensating feminine, to help you to also realize that what you want is out there, but that also you work on yourself and becoming the divine feminine woman yourself, because you will always attract your counterpart. So if you want to have a divine masculine man, you first must become a divine feminine woman as well. That doesn't mean that you need to be perfect, that you need to have it all figured out, because I'm telling you, when I met my current partner, I definitely did not have it all figured out. He was so much in his masculine energy and he was so secure within himself that he helped me to also become more secure. And together we worked on a lot of things because we just communicate very well, and I just constantly want to grow myself. I love this topic because there's so many people on social media that are asking about these things, because I feel like there's a lot of diversion and different opinions. There's, on the one hand, this entire sprinkle community, and don't get me wrong, I love Shara 7, like she's just so iconic and so funny. To an extent, I do not believe in this entire go get yourself a sugar daddy career path, or just marry a millionaire and, you know, date for a lifestyle and money instead of love, otherwise you will be unhappy, because honestly it doesn't go into the direction of creating loving, healthy families. Because if you decide to date just for money and lifestyle, like what do you want to teach your children at some point? Like, do you even like want to have children with a guy that you don't truly love? One thing that I realized was so hurtful for me while I was growing up is that my parents seem to not really love each other. And I know that they stayed together for a very long time, or for a much longer time than they should have, because of us children, because they wanted to, you know, be together for us. As a child, you learn love from your parents, right? You see how they love each other or not love each other, and that is your definition of love, which is why it can be so hurtful for children to see their parents not loving each other and then have that definition of love and then going to the outside world and recreating that pattern. But the thing is, with me, I always believed in like true love, but you know, there's been a time as well where I was so much on that path, like I hated men. I was like, I'm done with them. Stop dating for love. I want to date for money. I want to date for lifestyle, because that is like more secure. But I'm telling you, that security that you're chasing, or that women are chasing, just look after a rich man or a millionaire or billionaire or whatever, like that is an illusion, you know, because in the end you will also never be secure if you have all the money in the world. I had to learn it as well from my partner, because, and he knows a lot of people where, you know, there's very wealthy families and someone gets sick and they can, you know, fly out to get the best doctors, go to the best hospitals, but still they couldn't do anything. You know, so you have to realize that money is also not the cure to everything. And you have to ask yourself whether you want to spend a lifetime in, you know, getting along with someone, or actually really like loving someone. And I also believe in that theory that you as a woman should have your own personal ambitions and your own lifestyle and, you know, your own hobbies, your own passions, and that you are here on this planet to fulfill yourself, no matter if you're with a man or not. Like, there's so many women that, you know, this entire stay-at-home girlfriend, stay-at-home wife lifestyle, and there's nothing wrong about it. Of course, like I told my man, like if I have children, I don't want to work anymore, and he knows that. Like, we are cool with that. But what I know for myself is that I'll never be a passive princess where I just, you know, sit around and do nothing for myself and for others anymore, and where I just, you know, be passive and laying back and like being a little buck and I don't do anything anymore. Like, I want to keep on fulfilling myself. Like, I still have passions, but you know, if I decide that I want to work for fun and for passion, and not because I have to pay bills. Like, my man does all these things. Like, he is the provider of everything, but I still do have my own money. Like, us women, we know that we can do it all if we want to, but why would we? We can just make it easier for ourselves. And we have to learn to get back into our feminine energy so that we can also flourish better. Because if we are constantly in our masculine energy and we're constantly hustling and grinding, working and doing, like, we are burned out sooner or later. And I had to experience that in my own skin, because for the longest time I've been, working multiple businesses, and I've been so much in my masculine energy, and I was so caught up in that I didn't want to hear anything from a man. First, I didn't want to take any advice from men. I was constantly competing with men. I constantly wanted to do better. I wanted to do everything myself. And I was so like hyper independent, but also, the kind of men that I attracted were really not very masculine. Like, they let me actually, lead them, and they were not able to support me. They, maybe were like financially not in the same level as I was. They were actually, below me. And, the one thing that you have to create in relationships is polarity. If you don't have polarity, you really do not need to be in a relationship at all. Because without polarity, relationships die sooner or later. And there's one thing of how you can actually create polarity in your relationships, especially if you are a woman that subconsciously actually wants to be provided for, that you want to rest in your feminine energy, and you don't want to do everything by yourself all the time. Maybe you are used to it because you have been doing it for so long, but subconsciously as women, we all want someone to provide for us, but someone who is in his healthy masculine energy and not in his toxic masculine energy, where he maybe provides for you, but still he's also very controlling and he's very demanding of you. You're basically kind of like his slave. And I see that from a lot of women that are dating men just for money, because these men all know that these women are dating them for their money. So they are also using those women, those naive women that try to use the man. But basically they are both using each other, because that one person is using them for money and that other person is using them for pleasure and bodily temptation. And sooner or later, all these relationships are breaking down and you get replaced by someone else. And if you do not want to have that as a woman, and I do believe in those relationships that lasts like your entire life, and where you can build a happy, long-lasting family together, and where you can grow with each other, where you can communicate about literally everything, where you're also best friends, and where you just have that healthy love. Like, there's so much toxicity on social media these days, and I kind of like want to, remove all of that with my personal perspectives and my experiences. Trust me, I definitely had to learn about these things as well when I met my partner. I was a lot like caught up in like all these social media things, like, oh, my man has to pay all the bills from day one. And, I was so demanding and so like nagging sometimes, not like towards him, but I like in my own head, and I had to like, humble myself, because actually from the very beginning, my man did take care of me in every single way. I actually moved in with him already, and he's providing for everything. We flew into a 5-star resort. We were in Paris for my birthday. He had so many gifts and flowers, like everything. He was doing so much for me. But also I had to learn a couple of things, because, for example, a man that's in his true masculine energy, he will always support you with your goals and visions. Like a true masculine man that is high value, that is an entrepreneur, like he doesn't want to have a woman that he can't talk to, that he cannot share ideas with, that has literally not a glimpse of entrepreneurial mindset in herself. Like, my man dates me because I also am an entrepreneur. That doesn't mean that I have to be the breadwinner at all, or that I have to pay any bills, or that I have to earn money for us. Like, not at all. But he wants me to have ambitions, and he wants me to, fulfill my purpose, because he also is a very big believer of that every single human being is here on this planet for a reason, and that you have a purpose, and that you should go after your purpose, no matter if you're a man or a woman, and that you can, find your purpose by trying yourself out. Even if you have a partner, you shouldn't only rely on him, that you should still have your own passions and desires. Thought for one moment was like, why does he want me to work? Like, should he not actually want me to not work at all? which he does. Like he always said from the beginning that I never have to worry about money. I will never have to go 50-50 in any kind of way, that I will never have to, you know, work for money, but that he wants me to have a vision, to have a purpose, and to actually do something with my life apart from him, which actually is a very, very masculine trait. Like, you know, your man doesn't want to compete with you. And, you know, there's a lot of men out there that maybe, you know, want to basically have you in their home and kind of like control you, or, you know, that they have access to you whenever they want. And so they give you the illusion of, you know, that you don't have to work and that he will just pay for everything. But at the same time, you also lose your power. And when you lose your power and your identity, and, you know, you have, and basically automatically what you do is put all your energy on him. And when that happens, the polarity already slides away, because if you as a woman, you don't have your energy on you, like, man will literally stop chasing you. You will struggle because you will obsess over him. And the minute that you start obsessing over a man, he will run away from you. So you need to start to obsess over yourself. And you can only do that if you have your own passions, your own hobbies, and you do something for yourself. And as human beings, we all have feminine and masculine energy. So if we as women, we are completely taking off our masculine energy, we're not using it anymore, and we stop creating and we don't want to do anything anymore, we are actually losing a very big part of our power, because we can actually align our masculine and feminine energy inside to create and our magnetism in order to attract the things that we want. But that doesn't mean that you need to have $1 million business up and running in order to be called successful. You define your own definition of success. But if you're in your overcompensating feminine energy, which is you becoming very passive, you don't want to do anything anymore, like, you actually become very boring for a partner as well. Like a partner that truly is, you know, going after dreams and hustling and grinding to provide for you, to do things for you, and then he comes home and you don't do anything with your life, you don't grow yourself, you don't do nothing. Like, that's simply just not attractive. So let's find out the hyper masculine traits in women and also the overcompensating feminine traits. Masculine women are emotionally very guarded. They don't trust anyone, especially not men. And she also sees vulnerability as a very big weakness. Like, she would never talk about her emotions. She can't cry in front of anyone. She just simply doesn't want to show her emotions and take her guard off. She's very hyper dependent, and she refuses to let anyone help her because she wants to always be in the leading position. She knows and she wants to do it all herself. She is very, very controlling. Like, she literally cannot let go. Always tries to low-key compete with men and also women. She would seek validation through her appearance, through success or making money. And she also uses her sexuality as a power move or leverage. In relationships and also friendships, she needs to be the dominant factor. Like, she needs to dominate everyone so that she can feel that she's in control. She always tries to suppress her emotions to be cool and unbothered. And she also dismisses her entire intuition and her feelings and instead just, you know, explain everything with logic. And she's very strategic about everything that she does. She simply tries to prove her worth through doing things instead of simply being. She actually feels very threatened by women that are in her softness. Deep down, she knows that she can't receive love without suspicion or feeling guilty. Always associates surrendering and letting go with a loss of control, and she constantly attracts emotionally unavailable men to confirm her entire identity and assumptions about men. She sees asking for help as weakness, so she will never even receive any help at all. She needs to constantly overplan and micromanage and control every single outcome of her life, and she puts her success above her self-care and well-being. These are all traits of very masculine women. We have the other side, which is very passive femininity. It is basically when your feminine energy inside of you loses its balance and it slips into a very disempowering state. So the first thing is you would avoid all responsibility. You don't want to do anything yourself. You would only ask for help and you would rely so much on everybody else around you. Lack initiative. You would never take action for your own personal dreams and ambitions. You always wait for somebody to rescue you. Overly dependent, and you rely on the validation of others around you. You rely on others providing for you, whether that's man or family. And you basically also avoid any growth, any challenges, any solving problems. You have a victim mindset. You say yes to everything. You feel very powerless and like things just happen to you. You don't want to contribute in any area of your life, and you basically always wait for someone else to give meaning to your life. Passive feminine energy wants to only receive and give nothing back energetically in return. So what a lot of people in this entire community about becoming a stay-at-home girlfriend are talking about is the passive feminine. Like, you know, don't do anything anymore, wait for the man to provide for you, to help you to do things. Like, it's just not attractive for the long term, and you will not be happy in relationships if you are only the passive part. Like for me, for example, I was for the longest time in my masculine energy, and then I started to heal it, so I didn't want to have anything to do with my masculine energy anymore. I was overly in my passive feminine energy. Like literally, I didn't want to do anything anymore. I wanted to rely on a man only because I was so burned out, which is why it's so important to find balance before these things happen, before you burn out, and to learn to get that balance within, you know, to be self-reliant and, you know, responsible for your own life and your own choices, and you have your ambitions and your passions that you go after, and that you use your masculine energy and your feminine energy to create and to be powerful, to be empowered, and to just, you know, be a passionate woman. Because nothing is more attractive than a woman that is going after her passions and desires and goals, but without this piranha kind of mindset where you're just like so, you know, toxic in your hustle culture. You're trying to compete with everybody around you. Like, you know, if you embody your true divine feminine power, you know exactly when to switch off your energies. A lot of internal work to, you know, find it out how you can switch the switches and how switch between your masculine and feminine energy. But what helped me first of all, so this was part 1 of my video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. In the next video, I will give you all the action steps in order to step more into my feminine energy and also combine my masculine and my feminine energy to become more divine. If you guys like this video, then give me a thumbs up. Subscribe to my channel if you're new here. If you have any questions, put them down below in the comment section, and also check out my description box for all my products. See you guys in my next video. Bye.